Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to all in attendance today, including returning students, family members, parents and friends, distinguished guests, and our esteemed faculty and staff, plus Dr. Van Ryn. But most importantly, welcome to the matriculating students, the new members of the classes of 2017, 2016, and the soon-to-be alums of 2015, who have only 267 days left until freedom. To the matriculating students, you guys are the reasons for this gathering. And in all honesty, I'm excited to welcome each and every one of you to our family here at LSMSA. I would also like to extend congratulations from our community for making the choice to attend this institution. But by no means this is the end of your story. 2 years ago, I remember sitting in those exact seats, and although 2 years in LSMSA time is a couple of lifetimes, I clearly remember feeling nervousness, the same nervousness and anxiety that some of you guys are feeling right now. But it wasn't just about walking across the stage and focusing on not tripping. It was also about proving that I could excel at this school and succeed with the best that Louisiana had to offer. And this was the first time in my life where I was truly challenged. I couldn't just sleep through classes and get good grades, and I think many of you can relate to that. But this was also the first time where I wasn't the biggest fish in the pond, and I had to meet the expectations, which were set higher than I had ever encountered before. That challenge at first appeared intimidating until I realized that everyone is in the same boat, and we're just trying to fit in while maximizing our benefit from LSMSA's unique education. And so in my time here, I've learned a lot, but there are a couple of pieces of advice I would like to lend to you guys. First, and this one goes to my boys in Prudhomme, stay hygienic, take showers, do laundry, brush your teeth, comb your hair. The better smelling we are as a whole, the happier everyone's going to be. Number 2, delete yik yak. Number 3, don't be afraid. The teachers here can appear intimidating, but don't hesitate to approach them. If you think about it, we're the reason that they have jobs in the first place. So take advantage of the great resources that they can provide. If you ever need homework help, or you just want to go and say hi, go for it. Of course, be courteous, and going back to the first thing I said, it would help if students came in with good smelling breath too, according to our Dr. Fesky. Try to develop good relations with your teachers. Number 4, and in my opinion, the most important of the previous 3, branch out and try new things. Whether it be playing a sport you've never played before, like basketball or frisbee, tackling a new subject that has piqued your interest, or even just being more social, this is the time, the place, and the opportunity to do just that. And my final, most overarching piece of advice, embrace the school and the community while you can. The 1, 2, or even 3 years you have ahead of you will go by much quicker than you expect. I speak from experience when I say that because I still feel like a sophomore most of the time. Many of my friends have dubbed living at Prudhoe like a giant sleepover, and for the most part, that's true. I've never had such easy and constant access to my best friends, and I don't think that's something I'll ever have ever again. The people you meet here, roommates, hallmates, SLAs, teachers, and coaches, become part of your family, and that family will be very hard for me to leave at graduation. And so, as your own LSMSA experience unfolds, you will develop your own advice that you can give to your new sophomores and juniors. But for now, I guess what I said should suffice. Good luck with your first year, and I hope everyone has a safe ride home, a relaxing extended weekend, and above all, a great year. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Leah. Well, welcome to family, friends, faculty, staff, returning students, distinguished guests for the 2014 matriculation ceremony for the Louisiana School. And welcome new seniors, juniors, and sophomores. You've been here for 14 days, and I hope that as you anticipate and enjoy the upcoming long weekend, you also have an opportunity to reflect on how in these brief 2 weeks you've become part of this community. I hope that you are aware of what happens when you flex your talents and your abilities. I hope you're aware of what happens when you expand your capacity to study, to work, and to learn. And also what it means to be in a diverse, living, learning environment with equal peers, both in ability and in motivation. And I hope you're learning what it means to reap the results of the choices that you make. At the end of the ceremony, we'll sing the alma mater. And in that case, I hope you understand, or are beginning to understand, what it can mean for you to soar with the Eagles. In this ceremony, we celebrate the accomplishments that have brought you to this place and to the privilege that you now know as being a student at LSMSA. We're here formally to recognize you and to underscore our commitment, faculty, staff, administration, peers, to your success and ultimately to your graduation from this school. Joining us in this celebration, I'm particularly honored to introduce several special guests. But first, I would like to thank Dr. Al Benner and the ensemble. In just a short period of time, they were able to put together the celebratory music today, and I thought they did a great job. So thank you, Dr. Benner. We live in a great city for this school. Natchitoches, as you learn by walking around, is really charming, historic, and just a wonderful community. And I'm especially delighted that our mayor, Lee Posey, worked us in between 2 engagements. So he's here to give you an official welcome on behalf of the city of Natchitoches. Mayor Posey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Pat. We thank you for choosing this school to participate in. I think you're going to find that you're going to have an experience here. When we hear the stories of the people that have come from this school and what they have accomplished in their life, it's amazing. I just love to hear the stories every year about where people are going off to college, what they're doing in their lives, and now so many of them have graduated, they're coming back. And that's what I want to talk to you, just say a quick word about. We want you to develop a relationship with our community, not just for the 2 or 3 years you're here, but for a lifetime. People are still coming back to Natchitoches that went to school here 25 years ago and plus. With 3 quick things. We're experiencing our tricentennial this year. Natchitoches is 300 years old. The way I get people's attention is I tell them we're 4 years older than New Orleans. Everybody in Louisiana thinks New Orleans is the oldest, but it's Natchitoches. We've been having them about 4 years. So try to enjoy some of the festivities that are going on in our community. Natchitoches was named last year at Christmas season, after Rockefeller Center and Disney World, the 3rd top place to visit in a Christmas festival season to come in our community that you're living in right now. We just got awarded something from another travel magazine. It's one of the top 8 places in the United States to visit on getaway weekends. People love to come to our community, see the charm of our community, eat in our restaurants and visit. And we invite you to tell your parents to come back and do this. We wish you to have a great year, great luck, and God bless everybody. Thank you.
you for taking time to join us. We're a state agency, and that means we receive the majority of our funding through administrative and legislative action. So it's always good to have friends in high places. And we have a great friend in Senator Mike Walsworth. He represents District 33, the Monroe area. He's on our board of directors. He's on several important committees in the Senate, and is a faithful person. He attends this ceremony every year, and we love seeing him both at this and at other times of the year. So Senator Walsworth, thank you for being a friend of the school. The board of directors also has a member elected by the faculty of LSMSA. And last year, the faculty elected Mr. Mike McGrath to represent them in issues concerning the governance of our schools. So, Mr. McGrath, everyone knows you, but please stand to be recognized. Where would I find you? There he is. The Parents Council and parents in the audience today, I hope you had the opportunity to attend the meeting, and if you didn't, please know that you are a member of the parents group. We have great leadership in the Parents Council. I'm delighted that this year the leader is also a 1986 graduate of the school and the parent of a current senior. Thank you, Mr. Kelly Rodriguez. And I'd also like to mention that we know there are several counselors and school administrators from the schools that prepared these students. You let us know that you'd be here today, and we sure appreciate you coming to this ceremony, because your encouragement helped get the kids to the point where they are today. And so it means a lot to have you here, and I'd like to thank you personally for joining us. And now it's my personal pleasure and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. Dr. Julie Kane is a native of Boston, a longtime resident of Louisiana. She earned a BA from Cornell University, an MA from Boston University, and her PhD from LSU. She's been a Fulbright lecturer in Lithuania, the New Orleans Writer-in-Residence at Tulane University, and the George Bennett Fellow in Writing at Phillips Exeter Academy. From 2011 to 2013, she served as Louisiana's Poet Laureate. She's authored 4 books and 2 chapbooks of poetry, including Rhythm and Booze, which won the National Poetry Series, and Jazz Funeral, which was winner of the Donald Justice Poetry Prize. The Vietnam memoir that she co-authored with Kim Do, Counterpart, a South Vietnamese naval officer's war, became a history book club featured alternate. She is professor of English here at Northwestern State University, where in 2004 she received the Millard Hart Bailey Award for Faculty Research, and just last night, wasn't it, or yesterday, received the NSU Excellence in Teaching Award for the year. Students, you're going to have an opportunity to meet Dr. Kane personally on Friday, September 12th. She will be among the authors in the high school building for the first ever authors exposition that Dr. Dellery is organizing. So this will be your introduction to her. Please follow up with her on that occasion to get to know her better and her work. And now please join me in welcoming Dr. Julie Kane.
Thank you, Pat. Okay. I want to start off by congratulating the new students on your admission to the Louisiana School. In the years ahead, you're going to be having the opportunity to study with faculty members and to work with facilities and equipment that would be the envy of many U.S. colleges, let alone high schools. And you're going to be learning not only from your instructors, but from your bright and gifted peers in and out of the classroom. But there's a flip side to attending an outstanding educational institution, and that is that you may find yourself truly challenged for the first time in your life. In my case, when I graduated from a good public high school in New Jersey and went off to Cornell University, I was pretty self-confident. I had had an A on every English paper I'd ever written in my life, from grade school through high school. And I had won lots of essay contests from the Lions Club and the Knights of Columbus, and I'd eaten a lot of chicken a la king at their awards banquets. So when I took my first English class at Cornell, I had AP credit, and I got in a sophomore class, and I got back my first paper, and there was a big fat B- at the bottom of it. And then not long after that, I got back a social psychology of women paper with a D on it. And if you think the ice bucket challenge is a bracing experience, Brad Berkman, I'm talking to you, where are you? Try a D when you were used to getting A's. Well, in short order, I was earning A's on my papers again, but in between what I had to do is step up my game from what I've been used to in the past. And there are always going to be moments of self-doubt and indecision on the road to success. In addition to all the resources of friends, family, school officials, and counselors who can help you get through those times, I want to say don't forget the power of poetry to provide courage and inspiration. Obviously, I'm a little prejudiced in that matter, but you have to admit it's magical and mysterious stuff. There has never been a culture on earth that developed language and did not have poetry. Long ago, and still today, in the case of the last few remaining pre-literate tribes on earth, it was the vehicle of cultural memory for our ancestors. Its sounds and its rhythms are designed to stick in the brain like a burr. Often when a person suffers a stroke and loses the ability to speak, he or she can still recite the words to a memorized poem. And it's well known that persons who stutter do not stutter when reciting poems or when singing. Actor James Earl Jones, who was the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars and Mufasa in The Lion King, is just one of the many people who overcame a bad stutter by reciting poetry. In his case, a lot of Edgar Allan Poe. Particularly if you memorize a poem, you'll always have it with you, no matter whether you're stuck on an elevator between floors or alone and sleepless in a house with a hurricane raging outside and no power, and you can't see your own hand in front of you. This past summer, I read the book Unbroken by Lauren Hillenbrand, the same author who wrote Seabiscuit. Some of you may have read it too. It's a wonderful book. Unbroken is the story of Louis Zamperini, who was widely expected to break the 4-minute mile back before World War II broke out, and he became a bomber pilot instead of a runner. When his plane crashed into the Pacific Ocean, he survived 47 days on a life raft circled by sharks, and that was without any food or water after the first couple of days. Finally, he and a crewmate were rescued by the Japanese, who then tortured them, starved them, beat them in a series of POW camps. One of the things that struck me from the book was this passage at a time when Louis and his fellow prisoners were having to shovel coal for 14 hours a day on almost no food at all. Quote, "So began a daily routine. Each time the men finished cleaning one barge, they were pushed aboard another, and the hauling went on, punishing their bodies and numbing their minds. Somewhere along the way, as he and the others bent under their burdens and plodded along, Tom Wade began reciting poetry and speeches. Louis and the other slaves shoveled and walked in time with Shakespeare's soliloquies, with Churchill's vow to fight in the fields and in the streets and in the hills, with Lincoln's last full measure of devotion." That passage made me think, too, about how Nelson Mandela survived 27 years of captivity. On a little fragment of paper, he had written out the words to the poem Invictus by William Ernest Henley. And that's the one that ends with the famous lines, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul." The author of that poem, Henley, had lost a leg to tuberculosis when he was just 12 years old. And about a decade later, he was threatened with losing the other leg when he wrote that poem. Morgan Freeman, who played Mandela in the 2000 film Invictus, said in an interview that poem was his favorite. When he lost courage, when he felt like just giving up, just lie down and not get up again, he would recite it, and it would give him what he needed to keep going. President John F. Kennedy also understood the power of poetry. In a speech he gave in 1963 for the dedication of the Robert Frost Library, he said, "When power leads man to arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of this existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses." According to an essay by John Lundberg in the Huffington Post, JFK frequently asked his wife Jackie to read one particular poem to him. The title is very unnerving in retrospect. I Have a Rendezvous with Death by Alan Seeger. The poem speaks of how easy it would be to yield to the temptations of rest and luxury instead of sacrificing pleasure for responsibility. But the last two lines are, "I to my pledged word am true, I shall not fail that rendezvous." I can't help wondering if Jackie read that poem aloud in her whispery voice during the weeks of the Cuban Missile Crisis, when we came as close to nuclear war as we have ever come as a nation, and when that president was bearing a nearly unbearable level of responsibility. Poems that are inspirational, though, aren't necessarily going to be found on your English class syllabus. We English instructors tend to teach complex poems whose meanings need to be teased out in order to foster critical thinking skills. But we too get inspired by works that are much more straightforward. And of course, poems don't have to be grand and lofty in order to be inspirational. Sometimes just discovering that another human being felt the same weird way and found words to express it can be enough. And while knowing someone else's poem by heart can be a great stress reliever, writing your own poem can be a stress reliever too. When I get the urge to write, it's usually because something is bothering me or nagging at me. It's like the little grain of sand that gets inside the oyster. The words of the poem are the layers of pearl that the oyster coats around the irritant. When the poem or the pearl is finished, the irritant is no longer irritating, and you've created something beautiful or valuable because of it. Maybe, like me, you will hide it in your underwear drawer when I was a teenager, or maybe you'll get the courage to submit it to the Folio, your student literary magazine. After all this talk about poetry, I'm obviously going to have to end with a poem, and it's probably not the right atmosphere for my bartender poems. So I will end with Summer Day by Mary Oliver, given that the temperature outside is in the 90s. This is the summer day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Best of luck to new students with so much of your wild and precious life yet ahead of you. Thank you.
my turn to welcome you. Over the course of the past year, I got to know all of y'all really well. I can tell you that as a group, you're truly amazing. All 144 of you. Starting with your names, we had very few duplicates this year. A lot of times we'll have a lot of duplicate first names, but we didn't have that problem this year. Although 4 of you share the same middle name, there are 3 Anns, 4 Michaels, 5 Elizabeths, and 5 Nicoles. While middle names won't present too much of a problem, I'll just say good luck to the faculty and staff with our 2 Elise Joneses. Of your group, there are 88 young women and 56 young men. 10 of you are seniors, 53 of you are juniors, and 82 of you are sophomores. You come from 47 parishes, and I want to thank Livingston Parish for graciously giving up 16 of you. We're also pleased to have 1 of you from each of LaSalle, Wynne, Ward, Morehouse, and distant Washington, and Tangipahoa. You also come from New York, California, North Dakota, China, Nigeria, and India. 18 of you have either a sibling or a parent that attended LSMSA. And I'm going to fudge that number a little bit. 1 of you listed a staff member to whom you don't have a blood relationship. But I'm going to go ahead and count it because on a cosmic level, we're all related to Prim. Admission to LSMSA was very difficult this year, more difficult than the previous few. So don't let the returning students kick books in your faces. This year we admitted only 36% of you. Last year we admitted 45%. Your average GPA was 3.8. Your average ACT was 24. That's higher than some colleges. 6 of you scored a 30 or higher on the ACT. But you know what? Together, your ACT score was 3,300. It's true. And remember, I didn't let you into LSMSA. You earned your own spot here by your hard work and force of will. Congratulations. Now, people on our campus know that I love statistics, and that might be true, but what I really love about the admission process is reading your essays and meeting you and talking to your parents and getting to know your stories. This year I read essays and heard stories about your love of mathematics and science. Several of you were recognized by TIP. Others wrote about Quiz Bowl, dance, theater, and band competitions that you won and participated in. You're Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. You're a 4-H shooting champion. 1 of you holds a black belt in the Korean martial art of Dong Sudo. 2 of you are junior zookeepers at the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans. 1 of you has a Trini mom. More than 1 of you is an avid kickboxer. Several of you wrote about your excitement of doing your own laundry for the first time. I'm going to circle back on that one. Several of you are deeply concerned about and are preparing for the zombie apocalypse. Collectively and individually, it's been my honor to get to know each of you, and it was my pleasure throughout the whole process. Parents, I'm sure you've heard countless times, but I'll tell you once more that your children are in great hands. Our faculty are amazing at what they do. Just the other day, I had a student in my office who said in a sheepish way, "My classes are so incredible. The instructor actually loves what she does." And your child cannot be better cared for than by our student services and residence hall staff. And what I mean is that your student won't simply be supervised. They will be truly nurtured and prodded in ways that will fully engage your student in their work and in ways that will help them grow into and continue growing into being great human beings. Matriculation can be broadly defined as a process of being admitted to a group by entering your name in a register, which we'll do in just a minute, especially as a student at an institution of higher learning.
Today, new students will come to the stage and sign the matriculation roll, officially becoming members of our community of learners. We know that each of you has taken a different path to get to your seats you're sitting in now, but this ceremony marks the end of your separate journeys and the beginning of your journey together as LSMSA students. By choosing to enroll in our school, you are joining a community of scholars who value the examination and exchange of ideas. In fact, one of the most exciting things you have to look forward to during your time at LSMSA is establishing lifelong friendships with those seated around you, both past and present, found all over the world, who are ready to help a fellow giftee at a moment's notice. You are part of a select group of students. It's like a special club. There are slightly more than 4,500 LSMSA alums. There are more students than that starting LSU this fall. So, it's an exclusive club. Cherish your time here. You're surrounded by remarkable people. And now I'll ask Dr. Dellery and Ms. Shoemake to come up and read the roll.
Will the new members of the class of 2015 rise and come to the stairway? Zoe Louise Coubillon from Pineville High School. Raul Anthony Falcone from South Lafourche High School. Jared Andre McElving from East St. John High. Elisa Grace Sexton, who was homeschooled in Sulphur. Josiah Kenneth Stegman from Central Lafourche High School. Kelsey Elena Tuggle from Benton High School. Joseph Christopher Ulisny from Jennings High School. Elena Alden Woods from Caddo Magnet. New members of the class of 2016, will you come forward? Edobo Alvin Altre from Lyford International High School in Nigeria, Melbourne and Lake Charles. Haley Elizabeth Anselm from Cecilia High School. Maram Azmi from Denham Springs High School. Kaylani Vanessa Bowden from Slidell High School. Elijah Ali Broussard from Cecilia High. Bryce Lane Kaysen from Denham Springs High. Alden Joseph Caesar from Slaughter Community Charter School. Brian Michael Coleman from Washita Parish High School. Heather Renee Dittbrender from Leesville High School. Francesca Ainsley Faust from Parkview Baptist High in Baton Hannah Nicole Hagenmacher from Denham Springs High. Thomas Archer Gifford Haley from Natchitoches Central High. Jacob Talmadge Harrison from North Webster High. Brianna Mae Hotchkiss from North Webster High. Joseph Hoffman from East Ascension High. Ashley Hoover from Springfield High. Emma Elizabeth Yoakum from Denham Springs High. Elise Carey Jones from New Iberia Senior High. Elise Marie Jones from Caddo Magna High. Terrence Adolph Jones from the Magnet School for Cultural Arts in Opelousas. Connor Lee Jubin from Denham Springs High. Brock Michael Capel from East Hampton High School in New York, now living in Natchitoches. Jathia Lee Pierre Kazi from the International High School of New Orleans. Ariana Janae Kelly from Zachary High. Jamin David Kidd from Zachary High. Davin Lucas Levine from Denham Springs High. Ray Ann Ledbetter from Natchitoches Central. Alexis Kate Lugier from Broke Ridge High. V. Mai from Patrick Taylor in Jefferson Parish. Gregory Mado from Vanderbilt Catholic High. Justin Robert Marsh from Franklin Parish High. Seth Randall Martin from Toowoomba High School in Australia, now living in Nashville. Aaron Mitchell from St. Augustine High in New Orleans. Joseph Amelia Munar from Lafayette High. Leah Elaine Newman from Covington. Allie Nguyen from Delcombe High. Gabrielle Oak from Ouachita Parish High. Matthew Taylor Perez from Parkway High School. Ariana Perone from Dill Flat High. Jenna Lynn Pierce from Bell Chase High. Caleb Brody from West Feliciana High. Lauren Marie Sack Stafford from the Haynes Academy for Advanced Studies in Jefferson College. Joshua Ryan Savage from the Joaquin Independent School District in Texas, now living in Savannah Nicole Scott from Baton Rouge Magnet. Isha Sharma from Alfred M. Barb High in Lake Charles. Michaela Hennesshay Shelton from Humber High. Kristen Sterling from Slidell High. Emily Claire Swisher Anderson from Lutcher High. Jacob Peyton Wade from Rain High. Erica Wells from Albany High School in Livingston Parish. Caitlin Marie Willis from Faith Training Christian Academy in Pitkin. Danny Yang from Bel Air High School in Houston. And Alan Sun Zhao from Baton Rouge Magnet High School.
Class of 2017, please rise and come forward. Shauna Allen from Pineville High School. Varun Amin, Alfred M. Barb High School in Lake Charles. Christina Louise Airy, Baton Rouge Magnet High School. Milan Fellows Arpino, Neville High School in Monroe. Brittany Ann Bacon, Lafayette High School. Sierra Nicole Bailey, St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Hammond. Joshua Bella, Faith Training Christian Academy in Leesville. Austin Dakota Barrow, Stark High School. Isaiah Joseph Benavides, Alexandria Senior High School. Amanda Morgan Burrell, Academy of the Sacred Heart in Grand Coteau. Janice Elise Bourgeois, John Curtis Christian High School in Metairie. Kaylin Whitney Bourgeois, Mandeville High School. Kelsey Nicole Bruce, Homa Junior High. Trinity Page Beard, Westgate High School, New Iberia. Sabrina Inez Berkey, Natchitoches Central High School. Alexis Brooke Renata Cambridge, Slidell High School. Marcos Batuca Cecchini Nekatan, Denham Springs Freshman High School. Tyler John Sinak, Vanderbilt Catholic High School in Homa. Chaz Chapman, Parkway High School in Bossier City. Cameron Lee Chauncey, Benton High School. Ludwig Koloman, Alfred M. Barb High School in Lake Charles. Tierney McCall Dardar, South Lafourche High School in Cutoff. Lenora Susan Davis, St. Scholastica Academy in Covington. Victoria Grace Dowden, Louisiana Virtual Charter Academy from Coshada. Gwyneth Schmitz Angeron, Vanderbilt Catholic High School in Houma. Hayden Carl Fisher, Denham Springs Freshman High School. Elizabeth Ann Fontenot, Sacred Heart High School in Ville Platte. Victoria Ann Frabiel, Covington High School. Caitlin Skylar Ray Frost, Minot High School Central in Idaho. Oh, no, she's from Bossier City. Cody Garza, Ringgold High School. Grace Marie Gleason, Parkway High School, Bossier City. Carly Catherine Glenn, Live Oak High School in Watson. Madeline Lee Hansen, Opelousas Catholic School. Andrew Michael Abear, Berkman's Academy in Grand Coteau. Brandon David Howe, Albany High School. Jared Charles Hulsey, Dodson High School in Winfield. Bethany Jean Jenkins, Hanford West High School, now living in Ville Platte. Caitlin Bott Colleen, St. Mary's Dominican High School, New Orleans. Abigail Louise Kenny, Houma Junior High. Raymond John Lesh, Falls River Academy in Point Coupé. Leopold August Marks, McKinley Gifted High School in Baton Rouge. Zoe Mikkel Mott, Magnet School for the Advanced Arts in Opelousas. Aaron Mayer, Galena High School STEM Academy, now living in Prairieville. Michael Christopher Mayu, St. Mary's Catholic School in Natchitoches. Shona Rayanne McCullough, Walker Freshman High School. Kelsey Brianne Michelle, Louisiana Virtual Charter Academy in Stonewall. Valen Windsor Mull, Parkway High School, Bossier City. Aaliyah L'Oreal Newell, Academy of the Sacred Heart in Grand Coteau. Annie Hope Noel, St. Scholastica Academy in Covington. Michael Cameron Palmentier, St. Stanislaus College from from Baton Rouge. Caitlin Elizabeth Payne, Benton High School. Alexander Kenji Pierman, DeRitter High School. Anne-Marie Elizabeth Piccolo, Desterhan High School. Emma Grace Pitney, Benton High School. Mark David Postlethwaite, Runnels School in Baton Rouge. Chloe Paige Colts, Denham Springs, Freshman High. Corey Kennedy Rain, North Shore High School in Slidell. Lucy Rhymes, homeschooled in Breaux Bridge. Michelle C. Robinson of Oyles Public Charter School in Moreauville. Cheyenne Elizabeth Rogers, Pineville High School. Sarah Fairchild Trimble Rumsey, St. Louis Catholic High School in Lake Charles. David Joshua Rusk, LaSalle High School in Alla. Ian Sager, St. Amant High School. Dante Keith Samuel, Natchitoches Central High School. Kabir Shah, Natchitoches Central High School. Tamika Jade Simpson, Benton High School. Gage Michael Sweer, Patterson Senior High School. Bailey Rochelle Taylor, Simsboro High School. Carrie Catherine Thomas, Denham Springs Freshman High School. Lark Ainsley Tyler, West Washita High School. Allison Marie Walters, Ursuline Academy in New Orleans. Stephen Andrew Watson, Runnels School in Baton Rouge. Daniel Lloyd Watley, Natchitoches Central High School. Janisha Renee White, Church Point High School. Macy White, Starks High School. Corey Ellen Williamson, Alfred M. Barb High School in Lake Charles. Gabrielle Yos Favreau, St. Amant High School. Grace Helen Urin, Fountain Blue High School in Mountain View. Jessica Zhang, Natchitoches Central High School.
now like our newly matriculated students to stand up and welcome me in the student pledge. It's on the back of the program. All right. As a student of the Louisiana School for Math, Science, and the Arts, I understand that I belong to a community dedicated to the pursuit of academic and personal excellence. I accept my responsibility to promote academic honesty, mutual respect, and civility, and to refrain from decisions that may be harmful to myself, others, or the reputation of LSMSA. Thus, I promise to uphold the code of conduct that safeguards this pursuit. Thank you.
Entering LSMSA, a lot of emotions raced through my head. First, it was the fear of leaving home. Being only 15, it was hard to say goodbye to my family. And how was I going to get out of bed by myself? Second, it was the fear of being in such an academically challenging environment. But perhaps the most important emotion was that of excitement. I was so ready to take those challenging courses, to be engulfed in the arts, and to be surrounded by people with similar interests as I. At first, I didn't know exactly which direction I was heading, but LSMSA has helped pave those pathways. Sophomore year, I was too shy to join the basketball team. One day, a senior caught me shooting in the gym and told me I should play. Showing up to the first practice, I was so scared I wouldn't be good enough. 2 years later, and I'm a starter on the basketball team. Thanks to Coach Dale, I've become a better athlete, and the lessons I learned on the court stay with me off the court. Though I always had an interest in science, it was never my best subject. Junior year, I took a class called Cells and Genetics with Dr. Hodge, and I fell in love with biology. April of junior year, I'd had the opportunity to go to Mexico with several other classmates. We studied sea stars, learned how to snorkel, and were submerged in another culture. I now know it's what I want to study, all thanks to the opportunities that LSMSA has presented me. Not only have I grown as an athlete and a scientist, but I've grown as an artist. The theater department has helped me grow confidence in myself, trusting my own abilities. I've always been terrified of public speaking. And what am I doing right now? Mr. Tamakis knows how to work miracles. LSMSA has an elite group of faculty and staff that are passionate about their subjects. So no matter who you are and what you're interested in, LSMSA will help you find your niche. And you won't do it alone. Here you'll find people who become not just your best friends, but your family. The people I've met will forever hold a place inside of my heart. They're there to remind you that you are not alone, that you can get through anything, and that you are loved. So be yourself, and the right people will find you. Surround yourself with positivity, and remember, a compliment goes way farther than an insult. I hope everyone has a great first extended. Come back ready to begin this journey together and eager to find your own path. To the class of 2017, you have a bright 3 years ahead of you. To the class of 2016, you're halfway there. And finally, to the class of 2015, graduation's right around the corner. Make your final year count.
Everyone, please rise and sing our alma mater.
Diversity.
You're dismissed. Have a great break. Be safe.